Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Thursday, February 19th, and the NBA regular season is starting up after the All-Star break today. And Joe Duffy and I, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, are going to resume our daily NBA show. Been very successful so far. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
All right, Joe. Well, we had a very successful show so far. My record is 14-9 against the spread. Your record 15-9 against the spread. But you know, we got to maintain. You think we can?
We'll do a little bit better.
Do a little bit better. All right. Well, you know, there's just two games tonight, and I kind of forgot over the All-Star break how tough these NBA lines are. I think I'm going to pass on both these games. We'll see what you have to say about it. First, just tell everyone what your site, OffshoreInsiders.com, is all about.
Yeah, the NBA is back, but actually our big play tonight in college basketball. In fact, all three of them at OffshoreInsiders.com are college basketball, including, we haven't had that many wise guys as of late, but a wise guy play tonight, Thursday, and wait till you hear the intel at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Really? All right, Joe. Well, let's get into it. Like I said, you know, I look at these games, typical NBA games. I'm going to pass on both of them. The lines look kind of tight. You can make an argument for either side in both games. Dallas, OKC, and the Spurs, Clippers. You know, Westbrook's killing it for OKC. OKC covered 4 out of their last 5 heading into the break, and Dallas was just 50-50-ish. But would OKC be worth a play at -5? I don't know. I'm going to pass on this card. What's your take on these two games, Joe Duffy?
At the very least, I would lean towards OKC. Look, they've got a sense of urgency in the very competitive Western Conference. There's no guarantee they're going to make the playoffs. Now, obviously, if they can finally be healthy, which they were not in the first half, they should certainly make the playoffs. But now is really the time for them to start making some statements. There's definitely a sense of urgency there. Dallas, they are going to get Rajon Rondo back. He only missed 6 games. They were 2-3-1 without him. But remember, you know what we say, that sometimes when a player comes back, they got to take a little bit of a step back before they take a step forward. You know, the Mari Stoudemire, that's kind of a questionable acquisition, if you ask me. So I don't know if I'm going to make it an official pick, but I do think that Oklahoma City is probably the high percentage play there. And the Clippers, yeah, we know that Blake Griffin is out. My goodness, obviously he's a stud. He averages 22.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds. But, you know, the rest will benefit a team that has to make adjustments. So I really think the All-Star break will help them make those adjustments they need to. Conversely, the Clippers, we know they are the deepest team in the NBA. Depth is enormously important, but coming off of a long break, I think depth is a little bit less important here. Maybe too much of the odds makers adjustments. Last I saw, the Clippers are now getting 3, so I'll make that as an official free pick on the Clippers, getting a little bit too much at home.
Really? Clippers +3 against the Spurs. Yeah, both those teams were bad against the spread in their 10 games leading up to the break. It's just, you know, betting against the Spurs is always scary, especially when they are well rested. You know, sometimes the Spurs can get overvalued when they get a little bit worn down, but, you know, they're a very well-managed team. First game back from the All-Star break, you really want to be betting against the Spurs?
Well, yeah, the one thing that is true that, you know, with Greg Popovich, you never know when he's going to rest his stars. Well, the first game back from the All-Star break, there is no need to, but it gets back to what I said. I don't worry about that psychological juicy. I know that if you do bet against the Spurs and lose, it seems to hurt a little bit more than, you know, if you bet against the 76ers, for example, and lose. But no, it's definitely not a premium play. Although if the line keeps going up, you never know. Maybe I'll have a late addition to a premium play. At 3, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a premium play, but I still think it's a pretty solid percentage play. And truthfully, if this were the game before the All-Star break where the Clippers hadn't had that time to make their adjustments without Blake Griffin, or where the Spurs, where their depth really pays off, I would back off of it. But yeah, the Clippers are my official free pick.
All right, Joe Duffy, 15-9 against the spread in our show. He's going to take the Clippers at home +3 against the Spurs. And me, I'm passing on these two games. Hopefully I'll have something that I like tomorrow. Thanks so much, Joe. Talk to you tomorrow.